It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, George.
Have you enjoyed this week of summer?
My goodness. Isn't that amazing?
Wow, right? Like crazy.
I mean, it's not that way today, but I mean,
No.
this week was crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I did. And it started all in last week and just kept going and going and getting better and better. And I'm so, so pleased. And, it makes this transition into what was probably going to be fall feel a lot better, okay, because we know we got a few extra days there. So George, let me see how I'm going to say this. Usually when I come on and I talk to everyone, it's really about to give you some steps and action steps to take around the things that in life, as far as our finances, that we need to follow through on. But this week, I can't believe, with all the summer and the extra things that we had as far as joy, we have had so many additional things happen in the news, in the economy, I want to say this because I usually don't go into this realm, but even in our government and in our politics over the last 7, 8, 10 days, especially though rolling in the last 5, that I have to stop and make some comments here.
Go ahead.
But I don't necessarily have what I would call solutions. I probably have more questions and maybe a little bit of guidance at the end, but most of all from you, George, I need some conversation after I outline some of the things that have happened. So first of all, last week, as you know me, I was hedging a little bit in our conversation last week because we had just gotten really not even full details on the last minute compromise that took place there in the Congress and was signed by the president, and it was passed through the Senate and signed by the president as far as keeping the government funded.
Right.
It happened almost what you would really call in the middle of the night.
At the last minute.
At the last minute. So when we came on air, I didn't have enough details to feel really comfortable about saying much of anything. In fact, I don't think I said anything about that happening just a few hours before we actually came on air. But what ended up happening is we got a 45-day, what they call a continuing resolution, which was basically, we are going to continue to keep everything moving, but we're only going to do it for a certain period of time, which ended up being about 45 days. And 45 days was the compromise to give everyone more time to work out this budget and make sure that everything stayed afloat as far as keeping the government going. And so we thought, okay, cool. 45 days is a little short, but all right, okay, at least we're not going to have, on Monday morning, everything rolling off the cliff. Well, I thought that was probably going to be looked at as a good thing. But right behind that,
right
behind it, we ended up having a no confidence vote from members of a particular portion of the Republican segment that resulted in the loss of the Speaker of the House. But then I looked at the details, and all the Democrats joined that particular radical subset of the Republican Party to make sure that the Speaker of the House was vacated. So at this point in time, today, we have no Speaker of the House. That means 1/3 of the federal government, or a federal governing body, I should say, now has no leadership, which means work comes to a halt until we get new leadership. Okay. Guess what? That's never happened before, by the way. So I can't even go back into history and tell you, well, here's the next step. Yeah.
But it happened because of, I believe they put this rule in. I think it wasn't, maybe I'm wrong about this, but wasn't Kevin McCarthy hoisted by his own petard? I mean, didn't he put that?
Ooh, big word. Whoa. Journalistic word. Okay, go for it, George.
Like, wasn't that a rule he put in when he became speaker so that one person could bring this to the, I thought maybe that's what he did. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna go like throw out a line and reel us back. Go back to January.
Right.
When the new Congress came into, everybody was sworn in.
Right.
They had to
Right.
select a Speaker of the House. If you recall, there were like 15 votes.
Yes.
15 times that
Right.
they tried to elect the Speaker of the House, and McCarthy was making all kinds of compromises all over the place in
Right.
order to get the votes that he needed.
Talk to me. Let's go.
Okay. And there was one particular time frame where he and Matt Gaetz, if you remember, got into fisticuffs on the floor. Okay,
Right.
that was the big news. And they came to this kind of compromise that allowed for that last vote to come in. And that last vote that came in was this vacating
Right.
resolution that would allow for one member of the House to call a no confidence vote, versus in the past, as my understanding is, it was 5 members had to do this.
Mhm.
Now it was only 1, and that's what came back to, what was that word you used?
Hoisted by his own petard.
Hoisted by his own party. But here's the part that's really confusing. There needed to be X number of votes in order to do this. Not one person could bring it to the floor, but that one person couldn't cause him to be hoisted. You needed to have a majority vote. And the Democrats joined with the Republican segment that was bringing this vacating resolution to the floor, and they voted with them and they got rid of McCarthy. All right, I'm not in the back rooms. I don't know all the details. I just see this on the surface.
This is what happened. You just
what
give
happened?
Right.
Okay, and I'm going like, who was that? Arsenio Hall? Like, okay. So I'm gonna move forward.
Things that make you want to go, Yeah.
Things that make you want to go home. Here's the part that is absolutely mind-boggling to me. I missed this the first time. And during one of the votes that Gaetz brought to the floor, he nominated Donald J. Trump as Speaker of the House.
Yep.
I didn't remember that. Today, the former president is being nominated to become the new Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
This afternoon, okay. Today, and when I say today, I mean during the week, okay, as far as right now, on the floor or placed on the floor was the former president to become Speaker of the House.
You mean the 4-time indicted, twice
No,
impeached?
91 time indicted, and whatever that, no, okay.
Yes. No, twice impeached, that one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes, you're right. Whoever's listening to me, Vicki's typically not into politics. But here, let me tell you why I'm going there. I'm going to go to a few other things that are happening. But always remember, what do I say? Everything is connected. There are things that are happening that are part of this process as far as power and control that are unwinding in ways that we've never seen before. And why is that important? Because the last thing the market and the economy likes is craziness, is uncertainty, is outside the regular norms, is not being able to predict and understand what's going on. So what has happened this week also? For the first time in 16 years, U.S. Treasury yields are at their highest level. What is a treasury? Treasury is basically what we call bonds. Treasuries are the lifeblood of the economy. Treasuries are how we get funding for everything, how we pay for Social Security, and you said, well, yields are at their highest level. That should be good.
It should be.
Maybe not, because you have to realize the relationship in bonds and treasuries is an opposite relationship. Go back to years ago, we talked about before.
Right.
Opposite relationships in the fact that as treasury yields go up, pricing, value goes down. Everything starts to cost more and more and more as treasury yields go up. And treasury yields are always an indication of upside down, topsy-turvy, unnerving types of actions that are happening in the economy. Having a government that is frozen, having a government that has such discord, having a government action that is so outside the norm is driving uncertainty into the market in ways that even I did not expect. I did not expect to have this. Now, is it legal? Here's the thing, George. You write documents, 50 million gazillion, as my niece would say, years ago, and you never go back and review how they can be implemented or how they're could be implemented in the future, and they have gap spaces in them. So that's what we got right now. A constitution, government that has the ability to have someone step in who is outside the elected process into a role of power. Will it happen? Who knows? Should we pay attention? You better believe it. We should pay attention. Final thing. Last thing. Are you familiar with something called Fearless Fund?
No, I'm not.
The Fearless Fund is a venture capital fund. A venture capital fund which is used to create capital for building new businesses. The Fearless Fund was designed by two Black women, to make sure that.
Now I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Okay.
When you said the two Black women, I got it right away.
Because I sent it to you. I said, well, look at this. Okay.
No, I got it now. I know where you're going now. I know where you're going.
The courts have basically put a injunction that they cannot function because they're being challenged by the same Atlanta-based institution, that challenged affirmative action and won because of the fact that the fund was designed for empowering and providing funding specifically for Black business owners, Black female business owners. And what does this say again? Here we are again, looking at something being perverted. Right. Okay, perverted from its original intent. So what are we going to do, George? What are we going to do? What are we going to do, George? Tell me, what do you think we should do?
Vote.
That's one.
That's the one thing I can think of, because I know that is one way that we can make a difference. We got to also speak up. We got to let folk know. We got to talk about it. We can't be silent about it. And because you know what? You know the last thing I'm gonna say?
What?
We got to stay woke, because these things these things are happening right in front of our face, unabashedly and recklessly. And so that's what I think.
Okay, so I'm going to go with you here, George. A, of course, we have to vote. B, of course, okay, and I will say, you need to stay woke. Here's what I mean by woke here. Talk to everybody. I don't mean just your friends and neighbors. Talk to everybody about, are you really paying attention to what's happening? Are you really looking at what's happening? Because the intent is being perverted in its application at this point in time. And my third thing is this, on a financial basis, because we're talking about everything being connected. Pay attention to cash. Pay attention to cash. So the cash that you have lying around right now, in all situations, no matter what they are, there's always an advantage. Remember, I always talk about being poor, was not having advantages. There's always an advantage in the financial in chaos. And here we got real chaos right now. Here's the advantage. The cash that you have, examine what you have lying around to make sure that you're getting the right type of return on the cash that you have, because one thing is for sure, with treasury yields going up to the way that they are, the rates of return being paid on CDs, the rates of return being paid on money market accounts, on savings accounts, has increased dramatically. But you must be proactive and move your current cash to accounts that are giving higher yields if the yields have not moved up on your traditional accounts over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah. All right, George, that was a lot. I know it was a lot. Okay. But in all fairness, Vicki couldn't sit around and be quiet anymore. These things are way beyond the pale. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to encourage everyone to share and subscribe, to share
and comment and comment.
Share, okay? And make sure that, if you have any questions, feel free to call me. at area code 315-930-4499. Catch us on Facebook and on YouTube, and write to us at info@brackensfsn.com. And thank you, George, for the extra time. And I'll say right now, our plate is full.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.